Welcome, George. Thanks for this opportunity to present on Momentum Calgary, social economy organization that we researched for our project here. We're going to go through an overview and run the rest of our analysis of Momentum. And I'll just start us off. We have on the video with us David and Dawson. So Momentum's purpose, vision, and mission. Our purpose is poverty persists as a barrier to the realization of our vision and mission. We align with and advance the work of Enough for All, contributing our strengths as a community economic development organization. The vision is every person has a sustainable livelihood and contributes to their community. And the mission is that we work with people living on lower incomes and partners in our community to create a thriving local economy. So the Community Economic Development Organization of Momentum works with those people who are marginalized, who are possibly on low income, or find other ways that they're at disadvantage of participating in the economy, and works with them to build them up. So this is just a quick view of their website, and there's some information on here about the things that they do as an organization, and we're going to be going into more detail about that as we go through the presentation. So moving on to our next slide. What does Momentum do? So Momentum will help you start a business. They'll help you manage your money, train for a better job or a good job, and then they also do professional development. So some of the training that they offer and programs that they offer are financial literacy training. They will do matching savings programs, and they'll train on how to manage your money and do financial coaching as well. They also have training offered for free in different areas like the trades and ways to improve or accelerate a small business. So the training that Momentum offers is free, and it's meant to get people into a situation where they can contribute to the economy, where they're more self-reliant. We'll just move on to the next slide. This is a slide to show the breakdown of where Momentum's revenue is generated from. So as you can see on the breakdown here, that the majority of Momentum's funding comes from donations. The other thing that we noticed about their funding structure is that the Momentum has a pretty well diversified set of funders. They have funding coming in from all three levels of government. They have the self-generated revenue, and then donations and proxy donations coming through United Way. So the revenue structure is pretty sustainable as far as they're not relying on just one source of funding. What are the CED core principles that Momentum adheres to? We could see evidence of these five main ones here: self-reliance, community-based, participatory, asset-based, and sustainable. So the self-reliance principle is the way that Momentum seeks out that capacity building with individuals through education and training, that they'll be able to make someone more equipped to contribute to the economy through their employment or through growing their business. It's community-based because the Momentum focuses on contributing to the community around it. It's participatory in that the participants or the Momentum clients do have to come and participate in the program in order to take out the benefits, like the training and the other programs that they offer. Asset-based was also an important one because we noticed that they have self-generated revenue. So that's based on assets that generate revenue for the organization. And is it sustainable? We could see lots of different ways that the sustainability applied through their model. The graphic on the slide here is taken from the Momentum website. It shows the different assets that Momentum possesses and the assets that it tries to build in its clients. Let's just move on here. So this is a graphic that shows how a Momentum client would progress through the programs that it offers. So from surviving to getting by to starting to make changes to allowing a person to get ahead until the point that they're thriving. We reviewed some of the success stories of some of the clients that have gone through Momentum programming, and we could see this pattern as some of the clients took advantage of the things that Momentum offers. And some of the clients have gone through the programming and now they give back to Momentum and they serve on the board. So we thought that was a really healthy cycle that the clients will go through as they build that self-reliance in themselves. So um, we could see that the type of social economy organization is that they are employment based, they're mission based, and profit based, not as much as the other two, but it is an important part of their programming and the principles that they teach their clients. And we'll see that later in one of the sample videos that we have. This is the spectrum of social enterprise organizations. So we took a look at the spectrum. We analyzed Momentum, and we would place Momentum kind of right in the middle. They don't seem to be kind of like a for-profit all the way business that has just a social purpose, but they're not also just a not-for-profit. So right in the middle there is where we place them on the spectrum. So overall, Momentum is a really strong community economic development organization. Momentum has been in operation for about 30 years, and it's gone through different evolutions and name changes, but Momentum has kind of stuck with them since around 2006. We really liked the different programs that they offer. We were impressed with the impact overall that they had on the local economy, and feel like their mission is being accomplished through these principles of social economy that they are applying. I'm going to pass the time over to David to continue on with the next portion.
Great, thanks a lot, Jason. So I'm going to do a brief overview of the Hudson Framework and how we can apply it to Momentum and its approach to social economy and welfare. We have all learned that there are three approaches that can be used in classification. As you can see on the slide here, the welfare approach, the alternative sector, and the radical social economy. Based on Momentum's core principles and operation methods, we believe it fits into the alternative sector, social democratic section within the framework. This part of the framework emphasizes a mixed economy where both the state and the private sector play significant roles. It focuses on social justice, equality, and welfare services provided by the state. Next slide, please. Momentum's approach aligns with the alternative sector with these principles in several ways. Starting off with an emphasis on social justice. So firstly, Momentum's programs are designed to empower marginalized individuals and communities, helping them overcome barriers to economic participation. By providing access to education and resources, Momentum promotes social equity and works to reduce poverty and inequality. Secondly, Momentum operates with a strong sense of community involvement. It collaborates with various stakeholders, including government bodies, nonprofits, and local businesses to deliver its programs. This collective approach ensures that the support provided addresses the diverse needs of their community. Next, while Momentum itself is a nonprofit organization, it often works in partnership with government agencies to deliver its programs. This collaboration reflects the social democratic emphasis on the importance of state intervention and support in providing welfare services. Momentum's programs are designed to be accessible to everyone. This is where the universal accessibility comes in. Particularly, those who come from low-income backgrounds. This universal approach is a hallmark in the social democratic model, which advocates for welfare services that are available to all citizens, regardless of their socioeconomic status. Lastly, through its financial literacy and business training programs, Momentum helps individuals improve their economic standing, therefore, by contributing to a more equitable distribution of wealth, by enabling the people to achieve financial stability and success. Momentum supports a broader goal of reducing income inequality. So Momentum exemplifies the principles of the alternative sector in the Hudson framework by focusing on these 5 areas. By viewing Momentum through this lens, we can gain a deeper understanding of its mission, impact within the broader context of social economy and welfare. This classification not only helps us understand Momentum's operational ethos, but also underscores the importance of underlying such frameworks to evaluate and improve social economic initiatives. By doing so, we can appreciate the diverse approaches organizations take to address social issues and contribute to a more equitable and just society. So continuing from the previous slide, I'm going to go into a bit more analysis of Momentum using the Hudson framework. This will hopefully further illustrate why Momentum fits into this sector, the social democratic model. So yeah, perfect, thank you. So Momentum collaborates, once again, so state intervention, as I mentioned before, Momentum collaborates extensively with government bodies to deliver its programs. This is a very important part of Momentum's model. This collaboration is crucial because it allows Momentum to reach a broader audience and leverage state resources to enhance its impact. For instance, Momentum's financial literacy programs often receive funding and support from local and provincial governments. This partnership exemplifies the social democratic principle that state intervention is essential to provide comprehensive welfare services and support community-based initiatives. Next, we have collaborative responsibility. So Momentum's model is built on the idea of collaborative responsibility, where the success of individuals is seen as integral to the success of the community. This is evident in how they engage local businesses, nonprofits, and community organizations in their programs. By fostering a sense of shared responsibility, Momentum creates a supportive network that enhances the effectiveness of its initiatives. This approach underscores the social democratic belief that society as a whole has a duty to support and uplift all its members. And lastly, we have social partnership. So Momentum's approach to tackling social and economic issues involves building strong partnerships across various sectors. These partnerships include collaboration with the government, agencies, educational institutions, and private sector companies. For example, their employment programs often involve partnerships with local businesses that provide training and job opportunities for participants. This multi-sectoral collaboration ensures that Momentum's programs are well-rounded and addresses the complex needs of the community. Such social partnerships are key characteristics of the social democratic framework, which advocates for cooperative efforts between different societal actors to achieve common goals. So in conclusion, by applying the Hudson framework, we see that Momentum's focus on state intervention, universal welfare, redistribution of wealth, collective responsibility, and social partnership clearly align with the alternative sector. This framework not only helps us understand Momentum's operational strategies, but also highlights the importance of such organizations in promoting social justice and economic equality. I'll now let Dawson dive into more about Momentum.
Thanks, David. So with this next portion of the program here, we're going to get real into the details about Momentum as an organization. And we're going to start off with what are the problems that Momentum is trying to solve in society. So basically, Momentum is designed to improve employment outcomes for Calgarians, especially the under and unemployed people that are facing barriers to work. Unemployment rates in Calgary are about 8%. That's the highest municipality in Alberta. In comparison, the Canadian unemployment rate was about 6.2% in May 2024. That's up 0.9 percentage points from May 2023. In comparison, Alberta's unemployment rate was 7.2% in the same period. When we talk about people that face under and unemployment, people with some high school education have an unemployment rate of 16%. That rate is double of those with a high school diploma. And people with some post-secondary have an unemployment rate that is a little bit higher as well, and that's an unemployment rate of about 10%. So now that we know the problem, we can get into how Momentum uses the programming for solutions. So as Jason indicated, there are 4 main programs to Momentum, and the 4 main categories are starting a business, managing your money, training for a good job, and then professional development. So in the first category of starting a business, they provide a lot of opportunities in workshops and seminars. A lot of that is focused on self-employment or entrepreneurship. They talk a little bit about micro business loans, which they do offer at Momentum. They will look over business feasibility studies and help you design your business, as well as that social wraparound services about designing impact that you as a business owner can provide back to the community, similar to what they do. In the Manage Your Money program, they have a lot of money management workshops dealing with anything from tax time savings. They have financial coachings and, again, a lot of webinars. But they do have some programs where they get a little bit more intimately involved. In those cases, they have a match savings program for adults and for youth. In the adults portion, they, for every dollar that they the participants or the clients save while learning how to save money, Momentum will also match their amount by 3 times. But with a caveat that that money has to be put into either housing, education, or retirement funds. In the youth program, they have a matching savings program as well, and they increase the matching amount of 4 to 1. In another program, it's called the Owen Hart Homeowners Program, which I thought was very interesting. It's a 5-year savings program, so a very invested program in their clients, where people will try to save up for their first down payment, where Momentum in that first year will match their savings for 2 to 1 and up to $6,000 for that first year. In their Money Matters program, they talk about financial education, they do some coaching, and in some cases, they will also help you administer your money. This is really directed at people trying to recover from mental health or addiction issues. Moving on to the third main programming for Momentum, it's training for a good job, and they get really into the work experience and the skill building. One of their main programs is their IT support specialist certificate. It is a tuition-based program, and as Jason mentioned earlier, a lot of the programs that Momentum provides are for free. So everything I've talked to about before this IT support specialist has been a free program. The IT support specialist certificate, because it is a little bit more accredited and you do get a certificate when you walk out, it does have a tuition base to it. But it is heavily subsidized by Momentum as a charitable organization. So Momentum will pay $7,000 of the tuition. And so that will leave about $7,000 for the participant. But in order to help reduce the barriers for entry for this, Momentum will do an income share agreement where they only ask for a $500 down payment. And then once you get into a paying job, you can come up with a payment program to help pay back the rest. The other thing they do too is they work with a lot of their stakeholders and they provide work experience as a practicum. So you get to use the skills that you learn at Momentum. The next programs that they have are really geared towards the trades. So it's the plumbing, pipe fitting, carpentry, automotive, and heavy duty mechanics. These programs are to help prepare students to join the trades. So it's a pre-apprenticeship program. And is really geared to people living in Calgary who are under and unemployed. Similar to a lot of their other programs, they're really focused on helping those that are struggling to get into the workforce, to be able to provide for their families and really trying to lift them up. If people don't know what trades they want to get involved with, there's a skilled trades career exploration seminar that they can sit in and they can talk to people and try to get a understanding of what trades are out there and what careers they can go into. There's also a tech training program for women. This program is sponsored by Citi and Amazon Web Services. And so what they really try to do in these programs is tailor skills so that women can enter the tech workforce. And they really support this by connecting the participants again with the employers. And finally, their last branch of services that they provide is professional development. And a lot of this programming is geared towards community agencies. So it's a little bit of a train the trainer programming where there's our ESP facilitator training, teaching clients how to talk to the people that they support about the importance of our ESPs and education. They have financial coaching sessions and where you're training staff members again at a very reasonable price of about $120 to $175 per staff member. And then finally, in the professional development courses, they have an empowerment coach training session where this is a level 1 accredited training program, and you actually become a certified empowerment coach, which anybody in the social services industry knows that a lot of it is just trying to get people a little bit more empowered and get a little bit of more confidence in their abilities. And this is another course where there is a cost to the service of $4,900, but again, it's very much subsidized. So finally, we get into the impacts of Momentum into the local economy. So in a study of the local economy development program from a few years ago, the charity reported that for every dollar spent locally, it recirculates, creating $7 of local economic activity, which is a pretty good money well spent. Some of the other highlights to note here, and it's a lot to do with their success rates. So 75 or 79% of businesses that start up have a success rate from their graduate programs. They have a 75% employment rate in the trades as part of their pre-apprenticeship programs, helping a lot of people, $3.3 million in tax refunds. So a lot of great stats on the page. And this is definitely one of Momentum's key strengths. Which takes us to our next slide, talking a little bit about their strengths and their, oh, no, I might be jumping ahead here. Yeah, their strengths and their weaknesses. So Momentum strengths, as you've heard throughout the presentation, there's definitely their partnerships. They have over 150 community partners in the Calgary area, and they're diverse. They go from civil society organizations, public, with all 3 levels of government, and a lot of private big companies and donors in the community. As I indicated earlier, they have sponsorships in a lot of their programs, so Citi Financial and Amazon being 2 big ones that are invested in the development of their clients, because they could end up employing and get a good employee out of the partnership. And then with their trades, there's over a dozen companies in each area of the trades that provide work experience in each of the respected industries. So lots of great partnerships that Momentum works with and builds over the years, and that's probably why they've been around for 30 plus years. Another strength that Momentum provides is their governance. They have a great diversity on their board. As Jason indicated, there are prior participants of the program on their board. So the two people you see on the screen here, they are past program participants, MT Tahir and Peter Harrison, and they began their journey with Momentum as teenagers. Peter was the first in his family to go to university, and now he's got a great career. And they're both proud members of the Momentum Board of Directors. They are also donate to Momentum, and it really is a beacon to the people inside Momentum that are trying to get ahead in life of where the end goals could be. So very directly involved and influential on the board, and it's great to see that type of diversity on the board, where typically you might see a limited diversity on the board of financial successful white males. You're seeing people that are actually have been impacted by their program. Another strength in governance is they keep their low overhead very low. They have 20% overhead for admin and their fundraising costs. With a company size of about 66 employees and many volunteers, they're able to program a significant amount of programming out of Momentum. And they also keep their wages fairly reasonable. Their top earner makes between $160,000 and $200,000, where you might see a CEO for another company making twice, triple that amount of money. So really sticking to the cause in investing back into their programs. So with this low overhead, 80% of their revenue generated is reinvested back into their programs. With that, they're a very responsible charitable organization. And then finally, one of their main strengths, as I mentioned, is their data. They have high financial transparency. You can find their financial reports and their annual reports posted online. Through the research of organizations that look into charitable organizations, they got a B+ for their reporting of their impacts. And as we've learned throughout our course, impact reporting helps CED organizations gain credibility, specifically for attracting financing. So you can't be a sustainable organization if you don't have the money to drive the programming and get it back into the community. Some of their weaknesses, though, is you can go back to the last slide. Some of their weaknesses is their funding, and I think this is relevant to a lot of CED organizations where a majority of their funding is from government or donation funded. What that does is just creates a little bit of uncertainty, especially in tough economic times. Governments are also affected by inflation and cost of business. And so as the costs rise, there's less money to dole out to the community organizations. So that's definitely a weaknesses. But as Jason mentioned, they do have a diverse funding portfolio where they're getting funding from lots of different areas, which does help. Finally, their last weakness that we identified is some of their training. Although it is free, I couldn't find any certifications that were given, and it's not really from accredited or formal institutions. So when you're trying to get into the industry, those credited certifications from formal institutions really make a difference on your resume. But the flip side to that too is the work that they do impact the people that they serve. They are making gains and learning a lot of great tools. So although there isn't certifications, they are learning stuff when they go through their programs. Next slide, please. So some threats and opportunities. Just doing some research on Momentum and in the Calgary area. One of their biggest threats is the competition for the programming. So there are about 8 training and employment services in Calgary alone. with that, there's 2 universities and 4 colleges and many more online institutions. They're at a competitive disadvantage, like I mentioned about the recognized certifications, diplomas, or degrees. But they do have a competitive advantage to a lot of those areas where most of their offerings are free, really reducing the barriers for people that are unemployed or underemployed that don't have the money to pay for that formal education. The other threat or opportunity, it could be a little bit of both, is the shift in employment trends. So to be able to capture on those opportunities, they really need to stay ahead of the market needs of the industry sectors. Technology is really advancing industry in many ways, and that might change the skills that are required to gain entry into the field. And there is cost to develop and ship those programs. So you need skilled subject matter experts to come and teach. You need to always be reevaluating your programming to make sure it fits the needs of the companies that they're trying to serve and the people that they're trying to serve.
Thanks, Dawson. Don't mean to cut you off. Just we're at time, and we want to be mindful of our 30-minute time limit. If there's a chance for you to wrap this up in the next
Sure.
30 seconds or so, we can.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, I'll finally go on the last one. We'll do a quick dive into the recommendations that we had for Momentum. They're really in a financial good position, so they have about $10 million in reserves, but they've only invested about $200,000 into the capital. So that cash could be used to create new initiatives or be invested to grow the fund. Momentum spends a lot of time teaching a lot of clients that come through their way. So they could actually create a social enterprise using those skills, and that would generate revenue, additional jobs, help gain with some work experience and create a little bit of stability, financial stability for Momentum. And then finally, we thought that there was a big gap between the people that didn't have their grade 12 education. So helping clients get their GED or more formal certifications might help increase their chances of gaining employment. So with that, I'll wrap up my portion of the section and pass it back to Jason.
Thanks, Dawson, and thanks, David. We just wanted to wrap up with showing a quick profile of some of the entrepreneurs that Momentum has helped. We don't have time to watch these videos right now, but just we thought it was really cool and important to share that this is a business that went through the accelerator program and increased from a nonprofit to a for-profit business so that they could expand their reach and their impact, fixing tools and bringing in troubled youth to take a path of recovery in applying some skills and learning how to repair. And this is a gentleman who does carvings with a chainsaw and benefited from Momentum's training as well. So thanks for your time and attention. It was our pleasure to review Momentum Calgary, and we'll look forward to presenting further in class.